Well, folks, here we are again for the weekly forecast. Of course, this past week we had an impressive storm system move across the Central Plains. And in eastern Nebraska, many locations received at least an inch of rain with some isolated pockets of 2 inches of rain. And if we want to talk about it monthly totals, typically in November we get between 1.2 and 1.5 inches across the eastern third of the state, depending on location. So there are some locations that received a month's worth of precipitation with this system. Further west, of course, we've seen the snow fly with this system, and we talked about that last week that there was a chance from central Nebraska through northeast Nebraska for snowfall. It was a little bit heavier than the models initially forecasted, particularly as you got up into the Panhandle, where this is the second very large system that has impacted that region. And we have a few isolated pockets in the extreme northern Panhandle that have breached the 20-inch snowfall mark for this year, with unofficially up to 3 foot of snowfall that has been reported. And of course, a lot of that came with the blizzard. Now, in terms of eastern Nebraska, since October 1st, we have received anywhere from 4 inches up to 8 inches of moisture. So that puts us anywhere from 2 to upwards of 3 to 4 inches above normal. And if you consider this, we could go without precipitation in these heavier precipitation areas of the state all the way through the end of February and still be normal in regards to precipitation from October 1st through the end of February. So it's been an impressive start to the soil moisture recharge year. I'm sure there's more to come. If the winter is any indication of what these last systems are, it's going to be a rough one. Let's take a look at the upper air models and see what we can store at least for this next week. And this is especially in regards to harvest activity. The one thing we'll draw your attention to is the trough that moved through the northern plains. Now sits over the Great Lakes. That system moved across yesterday, now parked over the Great Lakes. There is going to be some clouds and precipitation with this system, and some of that might infiltrate into Ann Arbor during game time. For us, it looks like fairly clear conditions with a warming trend through the weekend. Fairly cool conditions in northeast Nebraska, much warmer in western Nebraska, fairly close to the upper 50s, lower 60s. As we get into tomorrow, we'll see that the warm air tries to bubble up a little bit more, so we could be looking easily into the low to mid 50s in northeast Nebraska, mid 60s possibly across southwest Nebraska. Now on Monday, that Great Lakes system decides to kind of pull a little bit cooler air down, and we'll see a frontal boundary kind of try to slide through the state late Monday into Tuesday, which could give us a few flurries, but because the source of moisture is coming from the northwest, doesn't look like much output at the surface. On Tuesday, that system really digs down deep. We get this big cold blast coming through eastern Nebraska, western Nebraska. We'll start to see the ridge building in, and we'll see a rebound in temperatures. And then it looks like clear sailing for the remainder of the week, just a little weak wave, a few clouds, but it doesn't look like any precipitation with this. As we get into Thursday, we see one little trough coming through. Right now, no moisture associated with the system, just clouds and a few sprinkles. And then that system bypasses us, and we start to see a trough digging into the western United States to pump up the warm air into our region. So the forecast looks like this. We'll see some warm conditions this weekend. Then we have that chance, light chance in the Tuesday time frame for a little scattered light precipitation, and then a gradual warming trend toward the week. 8 to 14 day forecast brings that big ridging pattern to the eastern United States with above normal temperatures in terms of precipitation. Of course, with a ridge with higher temperatures, we also look for below normal precipitation in our region.